The Baltimore Area Council is a nonprofit organization founded in 1911 that brings scouting programs to young scouts, scouts of all ages in Harford County and beyond. Join us in the next 30 minutes as we hear from some of the scouts about the amazing opportunities and some of the values that will help them with their life skills now and moving forward with their future. I'm Christy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. Ken Miller is the Scout Executive, and he is the CEO of the Baltimore Area Council. Ken, thanks so much for having me. It's been a while since I've been here, but I'm very excited to be back.
Welcome back to Broad Creek.
Now, Ken, let's talk about Scouts of America, because wow, things have really changed in the last few years.
Things have changed dramatically. I've worked for the Boy Scouts 40 years in 8 different cities, and I think about that. One of the things I brought today is the new current Boy Scout handbook. So one of the things you may not know, the Boy Scout handbook is one of the most published publications in the world. You think about it, over 1 million youth every year are participating. But I pulled out the original Boy Scout handbook, and the original one talked about how to stop a runaway horse. That was in 1910.
Wow.
And how the handbook evolves to teach the skills that are relevant to the youth today, boys and girls. Big changes, absolutely. And the name just is really synonymous with family-centric scouting. Our families tell us they want a one-stop opportunity. The young ladies are certainly telling us that they're embracing the opportunity to be in Scouts. Today, of our 12,000 youth members, about 17% are female.
That is incredible. Now, when did scouting change where girls were allowed to become scouts?
Interestingly enough, we've been co-ed since the mid-'70s in some of our programs. Full co-ed, Cub Scouts, Scouts, older Scouts, 5 years now.
Now, what would you say inspired these changes?
Demographics, family request, we've seen it. Just evolution. Oddly enough, of all the Scout associations in the world, almost all are co-ed. We were one of 3 or 4 Scout associations worldwide that were single gender. And best thing I can tell you about it is I think about the YMCA.
Right.
And today, most people don't even know what that stands for. And when I was a kid, we'd go to the Young Men's Christian Association, and 3 blocks away was the YWCA. They blended, or the Y went co-ed in the 70s. There was a boys club and a girls club in my town. Today it's the Boys and Girls Club. So I think we're a little late to the game, frankly.
Well, it seems like there's so many benefits to joining the Scouts. So can you kind of elaborate on what some of those would be?
Well, frankly, it's a good way to grow up. The skills maybe that you and I learned in school, a lot of those aren't taught anymore. The shops, the outdoors, the skills. So you get to learn those. There's 142 different merit badges that a youth can earn. Every one of those merit badges is going to be retained to some extent. And I promise you, anybody that was in Scouts, that merit badge either evolved to their career choice or certainly a hobby opportunity. So we think that's pretty exciting. And then giving leadership to others, cooking out, being a little self-reliant. My favorite story is when you go backpacking and you fill your pack up with 40, 50 pounds, you're committed. There's no out. You're 5 miles into a 10-mile backpacking trip. You got to finish. And those are the life lessons that I think every youth ought to learn. A little sustainability, a little endurance. So.
And from my experience and experiences that I've had with my friends and their kids, you can build lifelong friendships being in the Scouts.
Yeah. Yeah, Scouting's one of the few organizations I know where you can come in today as a kindergartner and stay the rest of your life. We just recognized an individual with 85 years of service to Scouting.
Wow.
85. And then we think about the things you do in school, and I had 3 children, and they did all the sports, and we probably thought our kids were going to be the star soccer player, swimmer, and band member, and at some point that evolved to different interests. But frankly, becoming an Eagle Scout, and this year we'll have about 480 young people earn the rank of Eagle Scout in Greater Baltimore. It's one of the few things that stays on your resume forever and will get you noticed.
Oh, absolutely. Now, tell me a little bit more about if anybody is interested in becoming part of this amazing organization. What are the first steps?
So we serve 410 packs and troops in the greater Baltimore area, the 5-county area. If you go to beascout.org, type in your zip code, every Cub Scout pack or Scout troop will come up in your zip code. It'll give you a contact name and number, and you can reach out to them and say, I'm interested in learning more, but I give you 400 choices.
Now, Ken, let's talk about the capital campaign. I know this is a big one for you.
It is for Broad Creek Memorial Scout Reservation. Broad Creek just celebrated 76 years of service to scouting. One of the stats that we like to share, last year, 25,000 people participated in events at Broad Creek, 25,000. So year-round, this facility is used extensively. There are 3 camps on the property, but candidly, funding capital improvements, always probably the last thing we think about. And we made it a real priority the last 4 years. And today we've raised about $8.2 million. We're going for $10 million. We don't build till we have the funds. The wastewater treatment plant, a lot of infrastructure. Then 3 new shower houses will be a game changer, as well as this new 400-seat dining hall. But it's time, and we want Broad Creek to be a great community resource. We continue to reach out to other groups to come out and use the facility. It's just, it's too big a resource not to. At 1,700 acres, we know we're one of the largest private property owners in the greater Baltimore area. People need to come out and have the opportunity to use it.
Oh, absolutely. Now that brings me to my next question. There's a lot of space, so this isn't something just for the scout, but scouting is something the whole family can enjoy, right?
We've really evolved to more family-centric programming. We still have troops come out and camp, for the weekend as a troop or as a pack. But one of the things we started a number of years ago was fall and spring family weekends. And I always say any parent will camp on the ground one night. And we sell these events out at 550 participants each fall and spring. Come out on Saturday morning, recreate, have lunch, recreate, have dinner, spend the night. Get up Sunday morning, have breakfast, church service if you wish, and then leave. So it's not even 24 hours, but we have found that such a neat niche. And as we meet the parents that come out, so many, it's their first time ever camping. The tent's never been out of the box, brand new sleeping bags, and good weather has served us well, but those continue to be sellout events. And those are life changers. To have that kind of quality time with your kids, it's important.
Thank you so much, Ken. I mean, we have a lot to get to. This is just a jam-packed show and a lot of very interesting perspectives here on how fun and how valuable scouting can be.
Absolutely. We're glad to share the story.
Well, coming up next, we're going to speak to a lifelong Harford County resident about how he got involved in Scouts and now what he's doing to partner with them. Stay with us. Alan Butler is the CEO of Erickson Living, and he is here to talk to me today about his involvement with Scouts of America. Hi, Alan.
Hey, how are you?
Now, Alan, let's talk about Erickson Living and Scouting and how you're now partnering with them and why.
Well, it starts with me. I was a scout my whole life, an Eagle Scout. My family is very active in scouting. My dad was Scoutmaster for 9 years. My brother's an Eagle Scout. I've got, on my dad's side of the family, 13 or 14 Eagle Scouts. So scouting was always important to us. So I was active on the board with Baltimore Area Council, and now my chief information officer is also on the board. So we're very active and try to do things for the Scouts.
Well, I also understand you're a Harford County resident, so
Yes.
You've been here your whole life?
I have. Well, I was born in West Virginia. I lived there for 2 years. My dad was a railroad man and got transferred to Baltimore when I was 2. So I've lived in Harford County my whole life pretty much.
Now, what first inspired you to join the Scouts? Was it because your family did and it just looked like so much fun?
Well, it's my family. I'm the youngest of 11 grandkids.
Whoa.
I'm the youngest, and there was 9 boys. So the youngest boy, all my cousins were Eagle Scouts. Were working in scouting, all became Eagle Scouts. So to me, it was a natural evolution because I saw them. They were camping, they were enjoying it, having fun, activities, meeting kids, and having fun. So it was something that was natural for me.
Alan, how long did it take you to become an Eagle Scout?
I guess I became an Eagle Scout right before I turned 16. So I suspect it took 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it was. But I came to camp every single year. So we came to Broad Creek. Camp Oast at the time. So that was where I earned a lot of merit badges. Every summer came for a week, and then I became a camp counselor when I turned 16.
Now, when you were in high school, you served on the staff here at Broad Creek. That must have been an amazing experience.
So I was a lifeguard, so I got a chance to teach beginners all the way up to life saving. So you had every week you would change whatever role you had with your fellow camp counselors. So some weeks it was the beginners, and some weeks it was the life saving, the heavy activities and so forth. It was fun.
Well, it sounds like it was something that you really enjoyed. So what would you say that you took away from the experience of being a scout?
My father made it very clear, not very clear, but my brother did it. My cousins had worked at camps, and not here, but in Virginia. But it was a great way. It was a learning experience. But I will tell you, I was talking to Ken Miller. You're working 6 days a week. It's a lot for a 16-year-old. Boy, you're learning activities, you're learning discipline, you're learning structure very early. So to me, it's a life lesson. I thought it was great. You're working with kids, you're working with adults, you're working as a team. It's quite an experience for a 16-year-old.
How have the skills that you've learned in Scouts helped you in your life and your career?
I would say that, I get asked that a lot actually, and I would say that leadership, when you're asked to lead, at 16, you're asked to lead maybe a patrol or the senior leader of your troop, or you work at camp. Leadership is something that translates your whole life, and to be able to lead something that early was a life lesson, and I think that's important. People ask me what separates people in business, and I would say it's leadership.
Why do you think the scouting program is so important for Harford County?
Well, listen, I think it's great for young people. I think it's a great, there's so many activities out there that I have 3 daughters, and I know it's, they have a lot of things they can do, but I think scouting is one where, again, you can learn life lessons at a young age. I think it's good for young people to be part of scouting. Again, chance to interact with folks that are different than they are, learn to work as teams, have fun things to do and activities. I think it's certainly something that's worthwhile.
Alan, thank you so much for your involvement and everything that you do, because what's better than supporting a scout?
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Well, as we know, camping is a huge part of the scouting experience. So we're going to learn more about all the camping opportunities with our camp director coming up. Alex Stout is the Baltimore Area Council Camping Director. We are so excited to have you, Alex, because one of the most popular things to do as a scout is camping. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm excited to hear all about it.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Now, Alex, as we've talked about, camping is one of the big experiences here for scouting. It's the reason why a lot of the scouts join. So tell us about the camping experience.
Yeah, so we have a great facility here at Broad Creek Scout Reservation. We, in addition to offering our summer camps over the summer, we have scouts here camping almost every weekend of the year. Not just camping, but also participating in our adventure programs, shooting sports, cope and climbing, aquatics, swimming, boating, all kinds of stuff that we have to offer here. We're busy all the time. In a typical year, we put about 20,000 kids through the property throughout the year.
Wow! Now talk about access to the outdoors. What is that?
Yeah, so in scouting, we feel very strongly that our young people need to connect with nature and participate in our outdoor programs. It's an opportunity for kids to, put down their screens and get outside and, be one with nature and interact with their friends and their unit leaders and things like that.
And what would you say are the most important values that you try and instill in the scouts as they move forward with their life?
In scouting, the big 3 is citizenship, character, and fitness. So, we are training our scouts to be productive members of society, participate in their communities, build strong character, and personal and mental fitness. So.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Broad Creek, we've all heard of it. For a scout to attend Broad Creek for a week of summer camp, that's a real value. I mean, what does it cost for the week?
Yeah, so for our older program in Scouts BSA, so this is our 11 to 18-year-old age group, a week of summer camp is around $430. And that includes their meals, their housing, all their program activities. It's an all-inclusive fee. So, once the scout arrives here, they don't have to spend a dollar more to participate in the program.
Now, is the summer camp only for scouts? Is there a certain age range?
Yeah, so our summer program is for scouts specifically. That's what it's designed for. We have programs for Cub Scouts, which is our elementary school age group, so starting at kindergarten. And we also have programs for our Scouts BSA program, which is our middle school and high school program.
Now, when the scouts go out and they raise money, is some of the money that they raise, does that go towards their camp?
Yeah. So we encourage our scout troops and our Cub Scout packs to raise money to help kids come to camp.
Now, how do they raise the funds?
Well, scout units can do a number of things. The local council offers a popcorn sale in the fall that they can participate in. But the local unit can do other fundraisers as well. Anything from pancake breakfasts, spaghetti dinners, that kind of thing.
Well, what's really impressive to me is we're going to meet her later on in the show, Alana Brown, 6th in the country in popcorn sales. So she is representing you very well.
Yeah, we're very
Now,
proud.
Some of the other things that when people get into Scouts, it seems like they learn so many valuable life lessons involving skills, nutrition. Can you talk about some of the things they take away from that?
I think some of the biggest lessons that a scout can take away from participating in either a summer camp or just scouting in general, overcoming fears, personal challenges, and leadership. The scouting is a youth-run program, especially in that middle school to high school age group. So giving kids the opportunity to lead a group of their peers through a week of summer camp is an invaluable experience.
So when I've asked a lot of the scouts what's their favorite activity. So what are the top activities for the scouts? What are their favorites?
So some of the top ones here at Broad Creek specifically, our climbing tower is very popular. That kind of goes back to the overcoming fears I was talking about earlier. I think kids really crave that experience of overcoming their fear and doing something they never thought that they could do before. And I think that's why our climbing tower specifically is very popular. Our target and range activities, so this is archery, rifle shooting, shotgun shooting, those are also very popular here at Broad Creek. Boating out on our lake, and my personal favorite is eating ice cream on the front porch of our trading post.
I like that.
And just spending time with their friends and hiking and playing basketball, that kind of thing.
Well, what would your advice be to anybody that's thinking about joining Scouts? Scout themselves and the parents.
I firmly believe that scouting is the best youth development program that anyone can participate in. It will teach your kids how to challenge themselves, how to be leaders, how to be productive and engaged members of society. They will meet friends that last a lifetime. I still talk to a lot of my old scout friends. Really the end goal is that character development, that citizenship, and we do that through our outdoor program.
Now, from what I understand, there's been a lot of renovations done here at Broad Creek, a lot of exciting renovations. So what are some of the things that have been done?
Yeah, so we've been very busy. So we're just wrapping up our wastewater treatment plant over here in Broad Creek. We have started construction on 3 new comfort stations for our scouts to have access to toilets and shower facilities. Those will be unveiled this summer, so they'll be ready for summer camp this year. All of our cabins have just been outfitted with brand new bunk beds and mattresses. So that's super exciting. In 2025, we'll be breaking ground on a new dining facility here in camp. So it'll be a 400-seat climate-controlled indoor dining facility. So that'll be available not just for our scouts, but also for the community at large, for birthday parties and weddings, corporate retreats, you name it. So,
Alex, thank you so much. Thanks for having us up here, and it sounds like it would be just such a great experience for anybody that hasn't had the experience to come and camp here at Broad Creek.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you.
Well, we know fundraising is a very important part of the scouting experience and popcorn sales. Our next guest is number 6 in the nation for sales. So we're going to get a chance to talk to her next and her experience with scouting. Stay with us. I'm here with Alana Brown. She is from Habit of Grace, and she is a Weeblo and also a very, very good popcorn saleswoman. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Alana, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Christy.
Now, Alana, what grade are you in?
I'm in 4th grade.
And what does it mean to be a Weeblo?
I think it means to be mature and basically to be like you're older in your rank and you're more like mature and you know more than like the younger kids.
What is your favorite part of the scouting opportunity?
My favorite part is probably like being with my pack, being able to talk to them and do a lot of things with them.
Now, fundraising is a really big part of the Scouts, and the delicious popcorn, I know I bought a lot of it, and you've sold a lot of it, number 6 in the country. That is absolutely amazing.
I believe I've sold like 26,000, 27.
26 or 27,000? How did you do it?
I am very nice. I don't use like words that come over like rude or disrespectful. I try to say my words in a nice way, in a very polite way.
But what's your favorite activity? What part of camping do you like the most?
My favorite activity is probably going like camping.
Oh, yeah?
Probably.
And where have you gone camping at?
We've gone camping here, Camp Spencer before, Gettysburg, and I think that's most of the places that we've gone camping.
And what is your goal with Scouts? Do you want to be an Eagle Scout?
Yes, I do. I want to try to make it to there.
Alana, thank you so much for being with us today, and congratulations. Very impressive what you've done with popcorn, and that popcorn is delicious.
Thanks, Christy.
Well, Alana is a Weeblo. Now, what does it take to become an Eagle Scout? We'll find out more about that rank coming up. I'm now joined with Emmeline Seary, and Emmeline is an Eagle Scout. She has been in Scouts since 2019, and what an experience this young woman has had. Her accomplishments are just amazing, and she's here to tell us how she started and where she goes from here. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Hi, Christy.
Now tell me a little bit about yourself and when you first joined the Scouts.
So I first joined Scouts, actually the very first day that women were allowed to join. I joined February 1st, 2019, and I had my first troop meeting about 3 days later on February 4th. I am an Eagle Scout. I go to school in Anne Arundel County, and I've been a member of Scouts now for I think almost 6 years.
What made you want to become a Scout?
I grew up watching my brother go to Cub Scout meetings. My dad was his troop's Cub master, and so I went to all the meetings with him. I kind of sat there, watched him do these activities, and was sitting there like, I really want to do this. And I couldn't, because at the time, girls weren't allowed into Cub Scouts. They were actually allowed to join the year after I would have been eligible for it, or after I stopped being eligible for it. But I was sitting there watching them do camping and hiking and building rockets and archery and BB guns and all these things that I didn't get a chance to do as a Girl Scout. And so the first second I heard, they're starting a female scout troop in Crofton, I was like, I have to go do that.
So what are your favorite things to do with Scouts? Are you into archery?
I am. So actually outside of Scouts, I used to shoot junior Olympic archery as well.
Oh, wow.
But at Scouts, I had the opportunity to shoot during summer camps and other campouts that we did, so I really love doing that. I also, as I grew older, I started staffing a national leadership training program called National Youth Leadership Training, or NYLT. And I staffed that for about 3 years, and I really, really loved it.
That's a big accomplishment for such a young age. So tell me about your path to becoming an Eagle Scout. That's the highest honor, right?
Yes. So it's the timing can really vary. I know some people who eagled as early as, being maybe 15. I got my Eagle Scout about a month before my 18th birthday. So I was running a little late. But you start with kind of your first 4 ranks. So that's Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, and First Class. And those are your Scout skills, basically. So that's camping, hiking, cooking, swimming, first aid, all of the kind of stereotypical things you'd think of when you think of scouting and summer camps and all of that. Along with some service, some leadership, but it's not the focus for those first 4 ranks. Then your last 3 ones, your Star rank, your Life rank, and your Eagle rank, those are when the service and the leadership really start getting pulled in more. You have to do service hours, you have to have leadership positions. A lot of people will also go to high adventure camps where you get to kind of do more advanced adventures and camping than you got to do when you were younger. And all of that culminates with when you're a Life Scout, one of the major things you have to do is your Eagle Scout service project. So you find a beneficiary, you workshop ideas with them, you plan and carry out the project all the way through until it's done. You provide a lot of leadership through it, and it's really great life experience. I really enjoyed doing mine. I learned so much from it. And then in addition to that, you have some other leadership and service requirements. You have to teach younger scouts in your troop. You have to give back to scouting, and then you do a board of review. You do that for most of the ranks, but your Eagle one is especially important. And if you pass that, that is the day that you become an Eagle Scout.
And what was it that you did for your Eagle Scout project?
I made a self-guided walking tour for a local historical society in my community. We have a society called Linthicum Walks, and it's kind of set back. It's actually right in front of my high school. But it's really set back in the trees from the main road, and not a ton of people in my community even know about it, but it's old plantation land. A ton of our homes, our schools, our businesses are all built on this land that the Linthicum family used to own, and the society preserves their house and kind of the core central parts of their lands. And so I made a self-guided walking tour where we had posts in the ground and people could read a little bit about the history of the location. So, the house or the graveyard or the Liberty Tree. And then they could scan the QR code and it'll take them to the society's website where they can learn more about that specific location.
Well, it sounds like your experience has been fantastic, and hopefully this will encourage other people to get involved, and maybe we'll have some more Eagle Scout projects coming our way.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
As you've seen today, there are so many benefits to being a scout, not just for the scout themselves, but for the entire family. So if you're interested in being a part of Scouting America, make sure to visit their website. I'm Christy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.